Hey, what's going on?
Yep.
How you doing?
Busy week.
Busy good?
Ups and downs, ebbs and flows, like always.
Yeah, yeah, exactly the usual.
Yep.
Give me the TLDR.
Well, I mean, the first thing is how I feel like there was another industry shift since we've last talked with the new GPT-4o image generation tool.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely wild.
I was thinking like how not, I mean, quote unquote, perfect timing you did with selling your agency, because I think that's going to drastically affect that market. Maybe not initially, but over time, as like the business owners themselves realize that they can use this thing to make assets on their own, and then, oh, I can just have one of my internal employees do it at the same quality as what your agency was doing.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, that means there's less work for the agencies, more internal. So like for as an agency, you would have to have more clients, you'd have to charge less probably. So I don't know. I was thinking about that with, with your timeline as well. And I was like, this is, and then on the other hand, it helps agencies go 10x as well.
yeah, yeah. I think that's the big one. Like, it's gonna weed out a lot of the small agencies or a lot of people that are not really driven to compete, I guess. But then the big dogs that have the people and resources to manage these AI services, it's just gonna go fucking bananas. Like
Yeah.
your ability to take on clients will basically be unrestricted because your fulfillment is no longer in the creative. It's just on how quickly you can prompt the system.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot easier if you already have a client getting machine. It'll be so much easier to just keep up retention and serve more clients with the same number of staff.
Yeah. It's really interesting and exciting too to see how the second OpenAI releases just a new feature, there's a few billion dollars of industry that's generated or created out of thin air. And I know I'm not the only one with, crazy shiny object syndrome when it comes to things like this, but thinking about how to, do that at scale for a business, oh, let's make a quick ad platform to, generate thousands of ads with, consistent assets.
Yeah, I haven't tried it on the ad creation side of things. I think it's amazing at product images, but I don't know if that's really what converts that well now. Like, I haven't seen it, and maybe just because I don't know, but I haven't seen it do an exceptional job at making UGC content. And maybe I'm wrong.
Hmm.
Maybe I just haven't seen it yet.
So I've been posting about it all week on Instagram, and a couple of my posts have been going semi-viral compared to my last 100, 200 posts.
Nice. Yeah.
So like the one that a lot of people are getting their arms up over is this one, GPT-4 image generation for animated graphics.
Yeah. I saw, I forget who posted it originally, but I saw that and then I saw your remake of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's at 4,600 likes right now, which is pretty crazy.
Holy shit, dude. That's crazy.
So I was like, oh, let me just continue to find examples and use cases for this. So the one I'm going to post later today is more about science and business use cases. But I've also got another one in the pipeline for tomorrow for e-commerce specifically. I've tracked like over a dozen different use cases and examples of how people are using it to go from product on body to flat lay to ghost mannequins to things on a rack. So many different use cases that I wasn't even considering when it first launched, but I think as people start using it and being creative with it, we'll start to see examples and use cases that will, rise to the top.
Yeah. Some of the product shots I've seen are amazing. Like, it works really well for aesthetically pleasing products. It works well for decor, for example. It also can work really well for apparel or skincare or perfume or like anything where the packaging looks really nice or
Hmm.
anything where it's wearable on a person. Now you can get the perfectly catered model that you want to wear your product, and it costs next to nothing to get it done.
Yeah. And it's funny because I posted one of those screenshots from, one of these tweets, and the model that was in that image saw it on my Instagram and DM'd me about, and she was like, "That's me."
Wait,
And
what image was this?
so let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, this one. So it was this post, this first one that I did, OpenAI's new GPT-4 image generator release. The first image is this one of this woman where someone took her photo, right? Let's see if I can't.
Oh, come on. Yeah, yeah, okay, I can see this.
And then was like, "Oh, I want this red jumpsuit and, like in the clouds or something." And then it generated a photo of her wearing the red jumpsuit in the clouds, and she DM'd me and was like, "Hey, that's me." And I was like, "Oh my God, what do you think about this? How are you, engaging with this? Like, are you pro or like, what do you think about this?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was so curious. And she was like, basically, it's scary that I potentially could lose modeling work due to this thing. Like somebody already took my image and now is recreating it. So it's like how, from her point of view, I should be getting paid because someone's using my image. And I was like, that's totally fair. Like, I totally agree with that.
100%. Yeah.
So,
It's a
yeah,
tough battle though. It's really tough. It's the same thing. This is a whole different level, but it's kind of like when someone does a screen overlay on one of your videos and it's like a reaction video. It's like you're allowed to do that, but you're using someone else's face to get credit and get views on your own video. This is the same thing, except you could basically be stealing someone's career.
yeah. And I think that's why so many people were like the negative AI crowd was so against like the whole Studio Ghibli trend where people were just reanimating, and it was mainly due to the fact that the main guy, I'll probably butcher his name, but I think Miyazaki, something like that. There's so much content and videos and like reports of him being like, "I hate computers. I will never automate anything in my studio. Everything will be hand drawn for forever." Like that's the reason. What's one of the main reasons why it started going viral on Twitter is because people were like, "Oh, this guy says it can't or shouldn't be done. Like that means that's the green light for me to try it or do it." And then it went nuclear, and everybody started posting about it.
Wow.
But it brings up an interesting point. Like, does that kind of have a similar overlay to someone like this model where I believe that she should get paid if somebody's using her likeness, especially in ads or any, just like how I would want to get paid if someone uses my videos for ads.
Yeah, of course.
Same thing.
So
But
what's your interpretation of this? Someone that has a big audience, makes a lot of content, and your audience basically fueled the entire start of your business.
yeah,
What's your take on this if you were this girl and your content got repurposed?
it's a good question. I think, and I asked her too, and I don't think she responded to this question. I was like, how are you taking advantage of this stuff yourself? Like, have you tried any of these things, or like, how are you thinking about these things? And I don't think she responded to that. My initial take is try to embrace as much as like, I didn't create this technology. Like none of us really created this technology, but there's no world in the future where this technology doesn't exist and grows and becomes more important or whatever. So I understand like the hesitation or like the lack of wanting to identify yourself with, AI generated anything, but it's inevitable. Like acceleration is inevitable. There's no future where AI is not going to be a big player in everybody's lives. So, in my opinion, it would behoove everyone to start now, like learn the basics just so you understand of like what's possible, what's not possible, and then scale from there.
I totally agree. That's the thing. The genie's out of the bottle. It's already
Exactly.
happening. You can't put it back. So if someone's using your face to profit, anything other than embracing it is just going to harm you in the long run. Because like
Exactly.
you can bitch and moan all you want about it, and even if it's justified, which in this case it definitely is. Like I've seen her image, I've seen that post everywhere,
Yeah.
but there's nothing you can do about it now. You might as well embrace it and say, "This was so cool. Here's some other outfits that I put on myself using AI. Oh my God, this is amazing." Like just take advantage of it. Get your face everywhere.
Yeah. That's me. Like she could probably have done like a stitch or a green screen video on top of these tweets and was like, hey, this is me. This is how I think about this, and like try to get her story out a little bit more.
Definitely, yeah. Or even maybe point out potential flaws in the image. Like there's a couple things that the original image is a little nicer. Like her neck in the generated image looks different than her neck in the original image. So
Hmm.
there are a couple things where it's like, yeah, this is cool, but this is what it would actually look like. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how she can continue to, continue to model without using AI.
Yeah,
But the image is pretty clearly AI.
exactly. And that's I think where I'm still very like, oh, it's not 100, it's still not 100%. Like I've tried it so many different times with my own face and my own stuff, and it's just not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's close.
It's getting, I mean, it's a leaps and bounds ahead of where it was last week, but it's just not quite there yet. So one of the most interesting things, and this is a funny callback to a couple episodes ago where we were talking about JSON and how you were learning what JSON was and how JSON works and all this stuff.
Hmm.
One of the interesting use cases that I've seen of people using GPT-4o is you upload maybe, 5, 6 images or like a mood board per se. And you have GPT describe a brand identity in JSON based off of these source images. And what happens is it creates like this massive list of JSON text that clearly defines a brand identity from source data. You can then use that JSON and put that inside a create image prompt in GPT-4o, and it follows that instructions to a T. So if you have very specific brand guidelines, or you're getting frustrated with things that are being generated, like text is getting cut off, or there's not enough margins or padding, like you can put all of that inside of a JSON request to create an image, and it will follow those instructions perfectly.
That's really interesting.
So I've started
So,
seeing people do, especially brands, is they'll create their brand identity. Once they have this set of JSON, they can add individual product photos with this JSON, and then boom, they have 99% accurate ads that have text, images, the right colors, their logos. Everything is essentially perfect in one shot.
that's really cool. That's really, really cool. That's what I was going to ask. Yeah, if brands using it. This is where I think that there will be an advantage for individual brands and a disadvantage for agencies. Because sometimes for an agency, it comes down to perfection. So using these AI tools, if you have to modify everything afterwards to get it to the client, it's almost better to just do it from scratch. But if you're a brand and you can just understand the fact, internalize the fact that it's not going to be perfect, but you're going to be able to do 10 times more volume. And that's more important. So yeah, like the amount that you're going to be able to produce on your own without needing to outsource it or hire an agency is going to be significantly more.
Yeah. More output and more creative. For the people that have agency and are smart and are creative, this is a huge unlock. There's been
Yep.
a lot of AI doomers in my comments, but on the flip side, I've had a lot of people, a lot of very interesting, even this model. Like, there's a lot of interesting conversations of where people are taking advantage of this stuff way faster than I think people realize.
Yeah.
And if you're not on the bandwagon, you better hop on.
Exactly. Genie's out of the bottle. There's no going back now. You
Yeah.
can either embrace it or get left behind.
Yeah. And I was thinking about all the, these ideas and how, oh, if, it generates an image and I don't quite like it perfectly, wouldn't it be cool if there was a app that could like immediately vectorize it and put it into Canva so I could immediately start shifting around the idea or like the concepts, which I then found there's the selection tool where you can select a part of the image and then it just regenerates that part of the image while keeping everything else the same.
Yeah, that's very cool. I had a similar conversation with a mutual friend of ours, Sam, And for his software, Magicals, that was one of my biggest requests is you're going to have to make fine-tune changes to every AI generated email. Even if the branding is perfect, you might want to slightly update the text or like change a gradient here or there. So that, I don't know if they're working on it, but I said it would be great if you could take this entire piece, vectorize it, and export it into Figma so that you can modify in Figma and then share it with the client.
Yep. And I believe ChatGPT can actually do that now. I believe you can ask it to generate a Figma file based off of a design, and it will generate one.
That is insane. I have to try that.
So yeah, you have to let me know. But the interesting thing is this is a common recurring theme with different AI platforms. So for example, like Lovable is one of my new favorite resources and things. So Lovable is essentially like like Cursor kind of, but without having to see the code. Like you just type in stuff and then it generates whatever you want. But what they've added recently is this ability to do a visual edit. So if you click this little edit button, it then allows you to select specific elements on the screen and then manually update or change them. So without the need to prompt it into or out of existence. So if I click this edit button, I could hover over any of these elements. And then if I was to click one, I could just update the text right there. And then it updates the text in real. So it's like, it's the standard website editor, but combined with the ability to then prompt something specific. So I could just click save and then it would save that. And then my design is now updated.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's like a website editor, but you have a whole prompting on the back end.
Yeah.
And you can export the code.
Yes. And I think that's where a lot of these platforms are going to move. Like they won't become, and it's kind of similar to Bambi, your app in a sense. Like the AI is not necessarily the main focus. It's what result can you get and how can we build the easiest set of steps to get to that result?
Yeah. Well, that's what I realized is that especially on consumer apps, you need to make it really easy for the consumer to input data or to basically input something,
Yeah.
whatever the core function of the app is, and then the AI should work to give the output. But the product is not the AI. The AI is an addition to the product.
Exactly. Yeah.
Took me a while to realize.
I think it took the entire market a while to realize that because everybody and their brother was just building ChatGPT clones with some sort of niche on top of it. And yeah, a lot of them did make money, but there's not an advantage use case beyond ChatGPT that those could provide.
Exactly. Yeah.
So why use them?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about TikTok and TikTok Shop and all that? Because they're supposed to be sold, I think, by Saturday, the 5th.
Honestly, I haven't kept up with it as much as I probably should. You probably have more insight on it than I do. I'm so out of the e-com world that I haven't even been paying attention.
I'm familiar with it through like just, posts and podcasts and things, but so TikTok, their 3 or 6 month whatever like delay ends on Saturday the 5th. So they have to divest to an American company before then in order to stay around.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely that will get delayed again, or something happen. But a lot of companies in the last couple of days have submitted bids to buy them or to take ownership, and some of those companies are very interesting. Soldier Boy also allegedly tried to make a purchase, even though I think that was obviously a joke. But the two main ones that I think are very interesting are OnlyFans and Amazon.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Very interesting, right? Amazon, I think, would be horrible for the end consumer. It would be an incredible purchase for Amazon, but I can't imagine how. I mean, to me, TikTok now is just all shopping.
Well, yeah, it would turn TikTok into Instagram, basically. It's just a total shop platform.
Well, I think it is that now already. Like every with the and we've talked about this with the rise of WAP and Posted and these and even just the TikTok shop algorithm where anybody can just sit in their bedroom, go on TikTok shop and find a product that has a, 15-20% commission and just make videos about it. And
Yeah.
if they don't get any views, then so what? But if it gets 1 million views and you sell 1,000 products, like you're going to make a good amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That plus the discovery of TikTok's algorithm, I think is the best shopping algorithm in the world, probably. And Amazon has none of that. So I think imagine if TikTok Shop was just connected to your Amazon Prime account. And you could
Right.
just watch a video and you click a button and it's Prime delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. What a moat that would be for Amazon.
That
I
would
wonder
be
if they'd even be allowed to buy it. Like
that
that's the
yeah.
hugest, that's the most clear monopoly in broad daylight that you could ever see.
Yeah. That's why I was like, oh, that's terrible for the consumer because Amazon would just dominate everything.
Yeah. I don't know if OnlyFans buying it is much better though.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, OnlyFans, I mean, they just straight up probably make it porn.
Yeah.
But it's wild. We'll see. I have a feeling that it will get delayed and or it'll just like a bunch of investors will probably buy it or something. I don't know, but we'll see. We should have news on that by next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Next week's call will be interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see OpenAPI's going public valuation?
Well, I saw that they raised another 40 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So privately, I
Uh,
think they're worth, was it 380?
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Nearly $400 billion valuation.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I honestly don't think it's that off. It's just amazing how quickly it happened, but I don't think it's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong either, but based off of what Sam Altman was tweeting this last week when after they released the 4.0 image update, our servers are melting, our GPUs are melting. They have to raise more money to increase their server load as they gain and onboard new customers. I think they said that they were gaining like 1 million new customers an hour or something.
That is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And then at the same day they released the 4.0 image update, Google Gemini released 2.5 for free for everybody. So to me, I see that that's a very interesting play because Google has that server capacity already. They have
Exactly.
the money
Yeah.
already. Everybody else is struggling to keep up, basically. So I'm like, long term, how does this play out? Is OpenAI able to raise and get enough money? I don't know. I feel like we're in a 2012 to 2016 Silicon Valley era, but instead of Facebook, Twitter, instead of social media companies like driving everything from a consumer point of view, it's now these AI companies, and which will rise to the top or die or get acquired. There's got to be some acquisitions here, I would assume.
Well, I mean, with the size and capital that's required, it's just bound to flow to the top.
And more IPOs. Like we haven't had IPOs in quite like at scale from 2020, 2021 is when it kind of slowed down. And then, I don't know, we're getting more into like macroeconomics, which I don't know that much about, but yeah. So I don't know. It's all just interesting to be observant of, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You can say that again. Yeah. It'll be an interesting 12 months to see where this all lands. But the tech is fucking impressive. Like it's really unbelievable to see what people are creating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking just like on a side note, we can cut this out, but I was thinking like throughout the week, we could start a thread in our chat, and then throughout the week, we just like post things or ideas or topics maybe that we could talk about. Because I think we both could give our, like, 5-10 minutes on your updates on what you've been learning, and then I could give 5-10 update on mine, and then we could talk about these news topics that we just talked about for 30 minutes. And then maybe, something at the end to wrap.
Yeah, it'd be good to have like a bit more structure because it's cool for us to both have here's what you're working on, here's what I'm working on, but then here's also a trending news topic that we could maybe slice up into shorts.
Exactly. Like
Yeah,
I already wrote down like two points where I was like, oh, that could be clippable.
yeah.
We'll see. The other clips I've tried to get from this in the past have been not so good, but I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. A little more prep work might help.
Yeah. Are you
Cool.
launched?
Well, what's that?
Did you fully launch?
Yeah. All right. So my update.
Yeah. Let's go into that. Yeah.
All right. So we launched Bambi 2.0, which was very exciting because we have the sleep tracker and it's actually very good to the point where I use it every day and I'm not using Huckleberry anymore, which is our biggest competitor. Ours, I think, is better. The math, oh my God, it's so complicated. It's way more complicated than you think to figure out when a child should be napping and when you should put them down to bed and when you should take them into the room and like read them a book or give them a bath and do wind down, like whatever you do to get your kid ready for bed. So we launched version 2 and then we realized there was an error with the math and we launched this on Friday morning.
Okay.
So it's published, ads are on, and then we emailed everybody on our list. We sent out the push notification. We contacted I have been manually DMing 100 people per day from 3 accounts to tell them I have like the most casual DM script going, but it's like, hey, this is random, but I'm a new dad and I built a sleep tracker. It's kind of like Huckleberry, but it does this XYZ way better. I'm giving out free trials to new parents just to see if people would actually use it. Can I share it with you? Such positive responses. Because I think as soon as I say I'm a new dad, people just let their guard down immediately. Mm-hmm. And then also I'm not telling them what the product is, which is the biggest mistake that I learned in cold email. You can't say, hey, it's Brock from Bambi. No one gives a fuck. Nobody even cares what your name is. So you just like get straight to the point. And I'm sending them from my personal page and Kathy's personal page on Instagram. And our Instagrams are also super plain Jane. They're like, Kathy has like 1,600 followers. I have 2,500 or something like that. Like very normal, not too crazy. Whereas I think if something like this came from your account, people would view it as like, he's trying to sell me something. Nope, don't want that. Because you're just too big for most people. So anyway, trying to take it to my advantage. But okay, coming full circle.
These are cold DMs?
Cold DMs, completely cold.
How are you finding the people?
A little bit of Phantom Buster, but mainly I'll just go to an Instagram page that's popular or a post that's popular, and I'll click on the likes or I'll click on the followers. And then I'll just literally hold command, click on everybody that has a public profile, and I'll just message them.
Nice.
So it takes me like 1 to 2 hours to DM 100 people. Like, you know what? That's not bad because my response rate is 10 to 15%. And the people that respond, no one says, fuck off. Everybody says, yeah, so cool. I'll try it. Sure, send me the link. I'll try it. So that's been great. And it's like, it's a scrappy way to try to grow just while I don't want to spend a bunch of money on ads before it's profitable. And it's a good way to actually get feedback from people because now the people that have tested it, they're like, hey, I tried it. Like, do you have a breastfeeding tracker? Do you have a diaper change tracker? Do you have like all these things? So easy to get shiny object syndrome and just get pulled in every direction and like want to build everything for everybody. So trying to battle that a little bit. But anyway, we launched version 2 on Friday, realized there was an issue with the nap math. So it would say that the nap time and the bedtime are the same. So it was like kind of this little error. So we had to go through and do the math. And this is where me being a newbie, I just told the developer the problem. I'm like, hey, this is the problem. Like these numbers are showing the same. Can you fix it? And that's such a mistake because he's like, I don't know how to calculate this. I don't know what you have in your head where I can try to figure it out. So I spent the whole day like going through these advanced math equations and factoring in every possible variable. Like the time the child woke up in the morning versus the average in the past 7 days, how long they napped for on average, how long their last nap was, what their mood is when they woke up or fell asleep. Do they have any sleep debt from the previous 7 days? There's like so many, the age of the child matters a lot, how many times they nap during a day. So there's a lot of variables that you have to nail down to actually get this math right, which we finally did. And now I can say it's perfect. And it is, I think, better than our competitor. Not everybody's going to think that right away because they're huge, but it's really fucking good. And I'm using it now every day. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like I was solving my own problem, and this solves the problem really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried so hard to get version 2.1 out on Friday, wasn't able to do it, but we published it on Monday. And now we have a bunch of ads running, literally manual DMs going. So yeah, so far so good. 60 downloads since doing that, 20 trials. So, we're getting there, slow and steady.
So what is that, 30%, 40%?
Yeah, 30%.
30%. Okay.
Yeah, 28.8% right now. So we're getting there, slow and steady progress. And it's interesting to see the subscription plan that people are choosing as well, because we have either $4 a week or $60 a year. So $4 a week is $182 a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. So many people choose the weekly plan. But I think it's common for people to try it and see if they like it before they end up converting.
Yes, I would agree.
So that's fine. I mean, the way I'm thinking about it is if you want to subscribe to weekly, it ends up being way more expensive. So it's going to be better revenue for us. And then if you end up using the app anyways, you're going to switch to the yearly anyways. So
yeah. Is there any features that are locked behind the yearly option?
No, not yet. But that's the next. I mean, there's so many things that I want to work on next. But that's one of the things that we're thinking about is having like a 3-tiered subscription plan. So first tier being free, the second one something low cost like $20 a year, and then the third one being $60, $80, or $100 a year.
So what if you, and maybe you've already thought about this, what if, so these ideas that people are giving you already, like breastfeeding tracker and all these, could you put those as add-ons?
We could. Yeah, we could. Yes. Where my head's at, and these would actually be easy to implement because as soon as you have one tracker, you can just rinse and repeat and add a bunch of other ones. Mm-hmm. So that's fine. It wouldn't be overly complicated. I don't want to make it wouldn't be tough to build, but I don't want the product to be too complicated to navigate on a small little phone screen. So I need to think that through. But the problem with one of our biggest competitors is that people don't really use it when their kid is past 1.5 to 2 years because it's mainly about tracking diapers and feeding and sleep, which is not that useful when they're past 2 years old.
Yeah.
So we built it with the evolution of a child aging in mind. So to bring them up to about 6 years old. So the first big thing is sleep tracking, which is what we want to launch now because we want to get all the new parents. I also think that new parents, first-time parents, are going to be a lot easier to convert than people that have had multiple kids or people that where their kid is now 10 months and they just don't care. They're not going to try anything new. And then the second thing is the meal planner. Also, huge company called Solid Starts that does a really great job of helping new parents introduce foods to their kids. So when the kid's like 6 to 9 months, you want to give them apples. How do you do it? You don't just, here you go, son, have an apple. You like need to mash it, and it shows you how to prepare for different age ranges. I'm like, that's cool, but it doesn't do anything after the kid's already eating solids. So again, just a really short lifespan of the customer. You have like 12 months of a customer, and that's it. And then it's gone. You're not going to use the app anymore. So the meal plan feature for us is how do you actually take the child's eating habits beyond just being a baby and turn that into regular meal plans with a grocery list and cooking instructions, and you can base it on every child for like what they like, what their allergies are, things like that. So I think that's going to help with retention. And then the third part is this growth and milestone tracker. So when we were kids, you used to line up against the wall and like mark the wall for your height, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that, but virtual, but it taps into CDC data and the averages across our other users. So you can see how your child measures up height, weight, developmental growth based on every other child on the app and American CDC data.
My kid's in the 99th percentile.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, I mean, it's terrible. You don't want to compare your kid, but
But
it's
you do.
important.
But you do.
You want to, you don't want others to want to. You don't want to want to.
I can't imagine the emotions or feelings beyond how I feel about my business and competition in that way that it would be of like a human that I helped create.
For sure, yeah.
I can't
Especially if you get
imagine.
into something like sports
Oh,
or height.
it's over.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Height for boys, it's like, yeah, my kid's in the 90th percentile of height.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So you don't want to track it, but
But you're
I
going to.
mean, you're going to. If
Yeah.
it's there, if you know that all you have to do is log your child's height and weight and you can figure out how they compare to every other child in the world, you're going to do it.
Yeah, of course. That problem that you solved with the math equation, that's definitely like a higher level, more intense problem to solve. But I think, did you have a, I don't know how to say this, like, I don't know, did you like, I don't know, I was talking to a buddy the other night about how, you know, a lot of friends have non-entrepreneur jobs, like a normal job. The problems that those people are solving on a daily basis are not the level of the problem that you just described. Like, how do you even figure out what the variables are and all the associated metrics and things to solve that problem for your own thing within the concept of launching the app and realizing there's a problem in the first place? Like, maybe comparing this to your past agency work, are you getting more out of it because it's you're solving harder problems, but you're doing it for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, it's way more difficult and it requires a different level of entrepreneur to go into software and app development. Whereas an agency is selling a service. An agency is just, you graduated from doing the service yourself to showing other people how to do the service for you and then selling it to clients. So it's just like a slightly elevated version of being a freelancer.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a whole different level. And it's way more engaging and way more interesting because I know the scale potential, but it is certainly harder. And the competition is way more fierce because there's higher barriers to entry, which means people are way more motivated to make it work. And the people that are willing to try are generally going to be smarter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Like the problems that I'm solving are not, nothing short of, I don't want to say like advanced just compared to past work, but it is like.
It is for sure. I mean, I know the problems you're solving are really advanced. And then the other thing is a cash flow situation. So for us, for the past 3 months, we've averaged 20K a month burn, which is not something that most people starting out can sustain. But obviously we can sustain it for years. And then the flip side of that is your app store payouts don't hit for 2 months after the revenue comes in, and you have free trials. So especially starting out when we're getting user feedback, we have 30-day trials, which we've just switched to 7, which is great. So we're going to realize revenue a little bit sooner. We switched to 7 days literally on Friday. So we should start to realize some revenue tomorrow. But yeah, then you have like continued ad spend. So we're still spending, it's light, but it's $100 a day on ads. We have our development cost. We have UGC creators. We have like all these other things. And the revenue that comes back in just happens a lot slower than you're able to put it out. So you need to have some cash. This is not something that you do if you're dead ass broke.
That's interesting, especially like if somebody else was to start an app themselves. Like I didn't know that there was a 2-month delay on payouts. Like that affects things by a lot.
Totally. Especially if you're scaling. Like I look at some of our e-com clients that started off at $100 a day. And then by the end of the month, they're spending $1,200 a day. Well, you're probably not going to pay $1,200 a day is $3,600 a month or $36,000 a month just for everybody listening. So $100 a day, you're on track to spend $3,000 for the month. By the end of the month, you're on track to spend $36,000 the next month. If you don't have that capital, you're just waiting. You're just waiting until the revenue hits your account before you can continue scaling.
Yep.
So you definitely need a cash buffer.
And one of
I'm
my
still not
favorite
taking on
lines,
investments, but like I definitely don't want to take on debt, but
yeah.
you need to have some cash before.
And one of my favorite lines, Amex doesn't care. They don't care that it takes 2 months for you to your funds to settle.
Nope.
So that $36,000 bill, that's due.
They want you to be in arrears too. Like they're happy for you to be indebted to them a little bit.
Oh, well, yeah, Amex, yeah, for sure. But yeah,
It's a whole different game, but it's like ecom on the advertising side. So when we first launched our ads, I realized something so interesting. We had a wicked discount code, an amazing offer, and we were converting from download to trial at like 25%, but even call it 50%. So we had a discount code that activated a 30-day trial and 50% off our subscription, weekly or annual, doesn't matter, just flat out 50% off. We relaunched with no discount code. Our cost per download went from $30 to $4. And now our cost per download without the discount code is $4. Yeah, I know.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does. I'll explain. And our conversion rate's the same. Our conversion rate's 30%. So 25 to 30, it's like basically the same with the numbers we're doing. We don't have enough volume to really figure out what it truly is. It's because if you give a discount code for an app, it's not like ecom where you click on it and the discount code is applied at checkout. You have to download the app, go through onboarding, and then input the discount code if you remember what it was from the ad. And even if you remember, it's not obvious to the consumer where you can put the discount code in because this was custom built by us. It's not like standard Shopify. You click on the link is the discount code where it's applied at checkout.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. So it was a deterrent because people would be like, okay, discount code, click, and then see they have to download the app and they're like, there's nowhere to input the discount code. And then they would just abandon. So we just took it out. I'm like, even if our cost per download doubled, it would still be twice as good as what it was before. Or even if our conversion rate got cut in half, it would still be twice as good as what it was previously.
Damn, 30 to 4?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
That's wild.
I can show you. Yesterday and today. All right, well now we're at $4.92, but whatever. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So now what we're doing today is we're updating amplitude, which is tracking, and we have a bunch of heat maps and journeys going. So we can figure out exactly where in the onboarding people are falling off, where in the app they're falling off, and then that is going to guide UX decisions and then just basically the build out of our next feature.
Yeah. Fascinating.
It's so interesting. I can see how apps make so much money if you nail all these metrics though.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing organic, because that's the other thing I realized. Sorry, I know I'm going on a whole rant here. It's not a matter of if it works. It's a matter of if it's profitable. Because you will get downloads. If you're on the App Store, you'll get downloads. If you're running ads, it might cost you $100 to get a download, but you'll get downloads. It will work. Same as ecom. If you have a Shopify store and you're running ads or posting content, you will sell product. It's just a matter of can you do it at scale and can you do it profitably and scalably. So for us, if we're paying like an average of probably $300 to $500 per UGC video, if you get good creators, what is that video going to return organically? How well will it perform in ads? And what's the return on ad spend going to be? So like it's going to work. It's just about figuring out all of these numbers. Mm-hmm. But if you can be profitable on acquisition on an app, then, I mean, you're off to the races.
Yeah.
No inventory, no distribution, just hopefully infinite scale.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the holy grail that I've been trying to run towards as fast as I physically can is how do we get to that profitable ad campaign where I can spend 10, make back 30, 50, 100. on a
I mean,
recurring
with
basis.
software, spend 10, make back 11. Like, just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
But I
you
did
tracking revenue from your ads or just downloads and trials?
all. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
We redid our like we redid our whole Google Tags conversions system. So like now we're effectively tracking new accounts, new CC trials, all that. But the bigger driver still is direct. And we had record signups, record growth, record subscribers, record revenue all last month. And a lot of that was, I mean, a good portion is just due to people coming direct. And it's so tough to track where they originated from. But I have a feeling a lot of it still is due to my audience on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Like these last couple posts after that first one went viral that I showed you, I made 5 other ones, but then I added in, and I think you commented on one of them, a CTA call to action on the last slide that says, here's how agencies are making money with AI. It had nothing to do with the post at all. But I was like, let me just toss it in here and see if people start doing it. Sure enough.
Dude, that was so well executed. It was so well executed. Every huge Instagram page I see that sells post space or like ad space to other companies does it exactly like that. It's a story about something and it's an emotion. And then the last thing is, by the way, if you want to do XYZ, click here or comment this.
Yeah, and
That post was perfect.
I was thinking like I could just do that basically for everything. Like anything, because it's like the Venn diagrams of audiences. Like people that are interested in white labeling and selling AI agents to businesses are definitely going to be interested in the latest AI updates in the market.
Yep.
It might not go the other way. That's fine, but that's why these posts are going so viral, is because they are mass, like they appeal to the masses.
Yeah.
And if you happen
Yeah.
to get to the last slide and that interests you, then you take action and you like initiate opting in essentially.
But that's
So
even better because then they're so much more qualified.
yeah,
It's kind of like a really, really mini sales funnel. They go through the carousel, they get information, they trust you, they trust the content, and then they see the call to action that's subtle enough where it doesn't feel like a pressure sale.
yeah, and I think the carousels are working better than my videos because I don't know. I think Mr. Beast said this or something like Meta has 3 billion users or whatever, but only 300 million or a billion of them speak English.
Interesting.
So it's like English speakers are the minority on the platform now. And how he was saying how one of his all-time best posts was when he was completely silent. He didn't say anything. And granted, these carousel posts are all in English, but they are more visual. Like there's less, like you don't have to hear. I don't know. I don't know if that's a correlation or a causation type thing, but I see that the carousels are doing well, so I'm going to post more carousels. Like, why would I be posting videos that get 50 views when I get a carousel that gets 100 likes in an hour?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. That's a really good point. At the
So
same token, though, maybe English content is a good disqualifier for countries that you don't want people to buy from.
that's also a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. A
That's
lot of
very
our internal automations are triggered based off of, if the phone number is +1 or not.
100%. 100%. I totally get that.
So, yeah, +1, +44. Yeah.
Yeah, US, Canada, UK. Totally. The main English ones.
Yep.
So here's a thought experiment. You said this several months ago. I don't even know when, but what you put in your content doesn't even have to be related to the product that you're selling, because it's just about getting views and then getting people to find the product organically through your link in bio or through the comment automation, whatever. So a company that does this really well in the mobile app space is Date Right Stuff. And
Right. Okay.
this guy, if you look him up on Instagram, he's hilarious. It's It's just like it's a conservative dating site. So it's for everybody that's like
Okay.
super right aligned.
Okay.
Because it's easy in the States. It's so polarizing, right? If
Oh,
you don't
wow.
align with the LGB,
This is a huge account.
they're huge. Like a lot of Americans will agree with me on that. Then you're going to choose this app over something more traditional like Tinder or I don't know what people use now. I have no idea. So his entire content strategy, he goes to a restaurant with his wife and she films him and he says something funny related to a political
A
stance.
political topic. Yep. So it gets people riled up. It's
Gets
probably
people
perfect.
riled up and it's hilarious. And the content has nothing to do with the product. It's related adjacent. It's like a third order, not related, but to the point where he knows that if you like it and you're
Exactly.
single, which
Yep.
is obviously a ton of people, then you will find this product useful. I need that. I need to figure out what that is for Bambi because it's a lot of work to always be going out and filming stuff and then posting these compilations or to be doing like our own UGC content to promote the app.
Yeah.
I feel like I need something that's simple that you can just do every day, all the time, and it's kind of related adjacent.
Yeah. Or so I mean that's definitely the better example or use case. The bigger one that I'm thinking of is how like Stake and all these crypto gambling sites are on anything, anything that gets views.
Yeah.
A dog clip or a clip of speed in streaming in China right now. Which by the way, I think is one of the biggest CIA operations of all time.
What, speed in China?
Yeah, I think it's a government sponsored trip. Trying to make China look good.
Interesting. All right, look, I can't even get down that rabbit
We
hole.
get sorry.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, but yeah, like making content that is not even remotely related to what your product is about, but yet it's getting views, which means you're getting in front of eyeballs, which means you're getting exposure.
That's it. That's it. I told you about an e-com brand, Mom Ease Care something, that's doing that. They're doing $250,000 a month, taking popular content from TikTok that's not on Instagram and posting it on Instagram. And that's it.
Damn.
What's my version of that? I haven't been able to figure it out. I want something that's so easy to rinse and repeat because like every parent, I'm also limited on time. I don't have all the time in the world to
Yeah.
like, be editing videos.
Could you go to Huckleberry or whatever and see if they have any like more UGC related stuff that is trending or working and just like rip that?
Yeah, they have fucking amazing UGC. So I tried trend.io. Not amazing.
Trends.io?
Trend, is it Trend, I think? Yeah, trend.io. They're a UGC platform. So I kind of got hoodwinked into it. One of their biggest things is like, oh, we have the biggest network of creators, which is true. Well, what does that mean? It means they accept fucking anyone and everyone. They boast this huge network of creators. Okay, so they have a bunch of subpar shit creators.
Yeah, I've never heard of these guys ever.
Yeah, so anyway, whatever. They're
Biggest fucking creative. Yeah, fuck outta
seem
here.
to be big. Who knows? Okay, so these are the pricing's hilarious. $500 for 10 videos. So I should have known the quality is going to be shit. So anyway, I'm working on that, and then the other one was what was it called? Hang on, I'm gonna find it. I'm probably not. Actually, it's gonna take me forever. I have to scroll through my gajillion DMs. Oh, Showcase. Showca.se. This one's a little cooler. It's where the creator sets their own price per video. So I found some decent creators that set between like $250 to $500 per video. And their examples are way better. But yeah, to answer your question, Huckleberry has some fucking amazing UGC, like really, really top quality. So, and they're running them in ads. So we definitely need to get some of that or try to produce it ourselves.
Interesting. Well,
I have no problem outsourcing UGC.
but you have the baby. That's the thing. Like you have the organic content right in front of you.
I do, but Noah's 18 and a half months now. So like this is so applicable for 0 to 12 months. It's so good. Now it's not as useful to have a sleep tracker because he takes one nap a day. It's going to be between like 11:30 and 12:30. We're going to put him down to bed between 7:30 and 8:30. It's like it's a little easier. I mean, it's a lot easier now than a newborn. Newborns are
Yeah.
fucking
Well,
impossible
so
to put to sleep.
get UGC for what, 4 months, and then and the next one's coming.
A month and a half. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're so close. It's
Oh
crazy.
man, I didn't know it was that close.
I
Ooh.
know. I know. It's super close.
That could
So
be like
yes,
any day now, right?
and in like 2 weeks, it could be any day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was born like a month early.
Were you?
Yeah.
Our first was born early too. We're getting
Oh,
close. Almost
that's
there.
exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, I'm also selfishly excited to have a newborn because all the time,
The doctor, the nurse should be like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, put your phone away."
as soon as the kid's born, I'm gonna be like, hey, sign this work contract.
Yeah,
Sign this.
already signed up. Already an employee.
I can already see the IRS is gonna be coming to me, be like, you gave your 4-month-old a salary. Come on.
He created all the content.
Yeah,
Look.
he made all these videos. I know he's our model. He's the spokesperson. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, yeah, all UGC is not created equal. That's for fucking sure. There's some that's total dog shit, and then there's others that are really, really good. And then we didn't go as hardcore on influencers as I initially planned, but it's because I'm gonna sound so fucking naive. Development is way more expensive than you think. It's always so much more. What I thought was going to be like $8,000 to get the MVP out was right, but the MVP was shit. So it's been like $30,000 of dev costs so far, and about $60,000 total investment to like get it to where it is now, which is fine, but it's a ton of money to go and then spend a bunch of money on content creators of like $10K a month. It's just an added thing that I don't think we need to do. But we do have one huge creator launching a video next week. So that will be a good way for me to like kind of get our feet wet and see what the response is going to be like. And he posts a video every day. The comments he gets on his post are fucking bananas. He gets so much engagement. So anyway, this will be like a good sample run. And he also added a view guarantee per platform, which is great.
Whoa.
Huge. So if it doesn't get the views that we're looking for, he'll just post another video pro bono. And
Okay. That's a very interesting way to do a deal.
yeah.
How many followers does he have?
600 and something Instagram
Okay.
and like 1.2 million TikTok, something like that.
Yeah.
But the views are great. I mean, he posts videos of his cute ass kids. Like the views are really good.
Interesting. That's an interesting insight into
I think that we
branding.
got lucky because the guy he's just the nicest guy. He's the greatest guy to deal with. Definitely not everybody has been like that. And what's great is I got him right before he hired his management team. And after we signed the contract, I suggested to him, like, look, you should be getting paid a lot more than what we're actually paying you for the video. So we got him on $3K per video. I told him, like, you should probably be around like 7,500 to 10K per video.
For that audience and that amount of views and engagement, 100%.
That's cheap, right?
I'm charging that much.
I know. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, we got lucky. We got him before he got his management team.
I'm looking at one of those right now too.
Are you? I would do it if I were you.
Really?
Yeah. They just get higher rates. They do all the negotiating for you. They'll weed out all the tire kickers. You're not going to waste your time with it. And if they're going to take 15%, who gives a shit? If they're going to get you more than 15% on every deal anyways. So it doesn't matter. And you're not going to waste your time on all the bullshit. You're running a successful business. You don't have time to talk to everybody that wants to work with you.
I get so many fucking emails every single day. And I was, and at first I'm like, oh, I could build an AI agent to do this, but I want someone that can negotiate who knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And actually I have we'll have to end here because I want to tell you, just off camera because it's not a closed deal yet, but I got a very interesting one. Hopefully I'll be able to share this with everyone in the next couple weeks after it
Nice.
closes.
That's exciting. That's really exciting.
Let's wrap up with any content recommendations.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. So there's a YouTube channel called Starter Story. and
Really good
it's like
one.
a guy who interviews founders of other companies, and then these guys will just like give in a detailed playbook of how they got to what their level is at. So there's one by, I believe his name is David Park. He runs, I think, Jenny AI, and I think they're at like 10 or 12 million ARR. And I started watching his video on Starter Story, and he's like giving the exact playbook that we are kind of talking about, but just more with more data, basically, and how to grow, how to scale, how to, do influencer, all these different things. And of course, it's within the niche of a AI consumer app, but I think there is a lot of crossover with the things that we talk about, with the things that he was mentioning, with stuff that Mr. Beast says about whatever. Like, I don't know, I take it all into consideration and try to, pick and choose useful bits. But I haven't watched the whole thing through, but first part was really good. That would be my like educational content recommendation. And then I just finished watching this show called Common Side Effects. It's an animated show, I think on HBO or something, but it's all about like big pharma and like CIA and like stuff, but it's an animated show and it's very interesting. It's like this guy finds a magic mushroom that cures death and how big pharma wants to like take him down. It's super interesting, super good.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, those are good ones. Those are good ones. Okay, so last month I recommended Adam, who's pretty good. His videos are very raw and unedited, so it's like decent, not the most amazing thing. The one long form video that I'm halfway through watching now, it's on the Chris Williamson podcast with Naval, what's his last name?
Great recommendation.
Revikent.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, man. I had never listened to Naval on a long form podcast before. He's very knowledgeable, but he he's so clear and easy to understand and so no BS. Like probably one of the more genuine, intelligent people that I've listened to. And Chris Williamson's one of the best interviewers ever. So
Yeah.
definitely recommend that one. The thing that I thought was so interesting is he talks about fortune and fame and how fortune is a everybody could win situation, but fame is a if you win, someone loses situation. Like for money, there's an infinite amount of money. We can all make money. You and I can get rich together.
Yeah.
But if we're both music artists and we're competing on the top 10 chart, if I get ahead, you get below. That's it.
Oh,
Fame
interesting.
is winner takes all. If I get higher, you get lower. That's it. It's a ranking process. So it's interesting. He talks about the psychology of like when you have enough money, you switch to wanting power because power is the thing where when you have it, it does get taken away from other people.
Mm-hmm.
But financial status or money, it's like there's only so much that you need, or you reach a certain level where you just, it's not like you have the same level of ambition to drive towards more wealth as you do to drive towards more power.
And we see that every day with billionaires who want fame.
For sure. For sure.
And some are doing it well, some are not doing it well. But yeah, that's I'm definitely gonna listen to that one. And I've seen the clips, but I didn't listen to the full thing yet.
It's unbelievable. It's so
But
good. I'm only about a quarter way in, so there's a lot more good stuff to hear. But yeah, really interesting guy.
that's a good one. Yeah, I'll definitely have to take a peek.
Cool. Well, this is a good chat. I
Yeah,
rambled probably way too much about micro parenting app development, but
all good.
so interesting.
Yeah, I love to hear it. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. See you guys
Thanks,
next week.
everybody.